quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Welcome to episode 20 of Tabletop Gold. You're listening to our production of the ruins of the Abomination Vaults adventure path. My name is Lars Casteen. I'm your host and game master. And I'm here tonight with four of my close friends. Let's meet them. First off, here's Robin Lange.
Hello.
Armat Humphreys is also here.
Hey.
Zoe Chernicoff.
Hello.
And the Tin Man himself.
I love
David
that is stuck.
Chernicoff.
Greetings, world. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
I love it because I can't hear David's name now without thinking Tin Man.
Yeah.
Same here. Yeah. It's a long road for me now because every time I write my name.
Yellow brick road.
At work, you're introducing yourself. Hi, I'm David the Tin Man Chernicoff.
Hey, everybody, I'm David the Tin Man Chernicoff.
I'm sorry, what did you say? You're David the what? What is it?
Oh,
did you say the Tin Man?
I don't know. Your closed captioning is off though, right?
Well, everybody, I'm excited to play this game. We're at a sort of interesting point. There's some potential challenges in front of you.
Woo.
Things might get a little spooky, a little weird. But before we get into that, we were trying to figure out what would be a nice thing to talk about tonight before we jumped into the game. And Robin mentioned that she once had a strange job for a while.
Going into this.
What was this strange job that you had?
My first ever paid job, actually.
Oh, wow.
When I was a teenager, was as a circus coach.
A circus coach?
A circus coach, yes, more specifically. I think in our chat, I was vaguely just saying, oh yeah, my time in the circus.
What does a circus coach do?
Now, Robin, I think I can handle this one.
Yeah, what do you think, David? David, what did I do as a circus coach?
Let's have David guest, and then Robin can.
Oh, this is great.
I like this more. This is way more fun. David,
Okay.
What did I do when I was a 16-year-old circus coach?
I'm guessing that you.
Can I ask a question first?
Yeah.
Did you get this coaching job because you were some kind of circus prodigy? Because if so, I think that David needs that piece of information in order to come up with a guess.
I don't want to give that information, honestly.
Okay.
I would rather
Okay.
see where it goes without that information.
All right.
I'm going to assume, for the purposes of answering this question, that on a scale of 1 to circus prodigy, you were like way into the triple digits.
The people at the circus were like, do you see her? She's a triple-digit circus prodigy.
On our scale, you can see she's well into the triple digits.
She's at least a 100, but certainly not above a 999.
No.
McLeod, we haven't had anyone over a 42 decade. Yeah, so I would say
She's
you
the
were
chosen
responsible for...
She is the chosen one.
She will bring the circus arts back into balance. No more shall the jugglers dominate the realm.
My guess is that Robin was responsible for improving the circusing of those younger than her, and due to her prodigious talent, like she and her mentees experienced only frustration, because people who are incredibly good at things, they have trouble explaining it because they're just so. She would have said things like, "Well, you you just feel the trapeze, and sort of nod encouragingly and wait for the inspiration to take hold. And then the 7-year-old, who in my head is like the way that Dr. Seuss draws like small children.
Right.
So the 7-year-old
in like a turtleneck onesie.
Yeah,
Not at all informed by our continual reading of If I Ran the Circus by Dr. Seuss recently with our children.
My favorite book as a child that I made my father read to me over and over, by the way.
Well, the pieces are starting to fit. I think that Robin was like a sort of tortured genius teen lifeguard, but for tumbling. How's my driving?
So I went to a arts camp every summer, sleepaway camp as a kid, and there was a theater program, there was a theater program, and that was the main reason I went there. In addition to theater program, there was a circus program, and I got really involved in the circus program. Once I was too old to go to that camp, where I did flying trapeze and juggling and things like that. When I was too old to go to the sleepaway camp, I got hired to travel with a couple people who no longer worked at the camp to work with their kind of traveling summer camp program, where they were hired by camps to go and teach circus to smaller camps. So we would go from camp to camp for like 3 or 5 day stints and teach small circus performance things.
You were a traveling circus performer.
So I really was a traveling, and then we would do small circus shows. So I would do juggling. We would do balancing on these big ball acts.
I want to back way up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Do you?
Let's zoom in further. What cloth was this swing?
Wait, so this camp trained was an arts camp that had a theater program, but then also as a sideline trained the circus arts.
Yeah, so there was a theater program, a circus program, a fine arts program, music arts program.
But what is what are the circusing arts? Like what are we talking about? Like did they do lion taming at this place?
No.
Yeah.
So
no, that's ridiculous. What a silly guess.
Physical circus arts.
Yeah.
So there's a flying trapeze. There was hand balancing. Roller skating, where you do roller skating tricks. There's a low wire, slack wire. What's the other?
Low wire, slack wire.
Like slacklining. Yeah. Slacklining is like a hip thing this day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. This day.
This is one of those conversations that's making me feel like I don't know anything.
Lars, did you ever go to the circus as a kid?
I'm not sure that I did.
I feel like this is a memory I have very strongly, but I don't think circuses in the way that like I went to as a kid are still a thing.
Nowadays, when I think of circus, the more modern circus is really like Cirque du Soleil and a lot of French Canadian circuses that are inspired by that, where it really is much more artistic, much more athletic and ballet inspired.
Did you enjoy your time traveling around as a circus coach?
Was
it a
fun.
Good first employment experience?
Yeah. It got me, I did some other traveling jobs after that once after college, and I've always enjoyed getting a chance to travel for work. Whenever I'm meeting someone young who's like, what should I do? I'm looking for something temporary. I'm like, find something to travel. Do some travel jobs.
I thought you were going to say, be a circus
Join
coach.
the circus.
Yeah. Coach the circus.
I mean,
Hey, it works for
I would
Dick
suggest
Grayson.
to anyone to join the circus, especially if you like sparkly spandex.
I do like sparkly spandex.
Who doesn't?
The best advice I ever got in the circus, that whenever anything goes wrong, just smile and style.
I like it.
Well, speaking of smiling and styling, let's get into our game, shall we? Should we play our game? Should we get into this adventure that we're all on in the world of Galarian?
Are there circuses there?
There are circuses there. We are currently playing the 4th adventure path that Paizo published for this game.
Okay.
The second one, you run a circus.
So you
Let's
didn't
do it.
choose that one because what, you hate fun? You just like us? Is this like a grudge thing?
Yeah. This whole thing is a big prank.
I can see us as a
this whole
family of
podcast.
4 gnome circus coaches.
Yes, please.
Gnome party is best party.
Yes.
All gnomes.
Well, if you are enjoying Tabletop Gold, please rate and review us on your podcast app of choice. And that having been said, let's get into the game. On the instruction of Mayor Osif Menhemez, you have returned to Gauntlet Keep to see what secrets its subterranean areas might yield in your search to find and dismantle the source of the old lighthouse's horrible weapon. You're presently in the basement of the Keep's outbuilding, directly beneath the lens workshop where your friend Haplo met his end. The small cell which you presently occupy has two main features: a strange machine with a drill and a lens built into it, and also an enormous desiccated worm with the circular mouth and hook-like teeth of a leech. When you walked into this room, you thought it was just like a weird tube of meat sitting on a table, and it has reared up, revealed its disgusting leech mouth, and has attacked.
Everything is awful.
Aren't we all just weird tubes of meat when you get right down to it?
That's a great point. I think that you should pursue that line of reasoning right after you. Yeah. Roll for initiative. It is episode 20. We are breaking off another 5. Everybody presently right now is 1 hero point. And I'm going to say, before you give me your numbers, I think initiative is incredibly important right now, because as this leech rose to life, this like 4-foot long leech, you are all surrounding this table. So if it goes before you, it can potentially hit really, really hard. So let's see how everybody did on their initiative rolls. First off, Robin, what did you got?
Trill rolled an 11. Only a 4 on the die. We can't hero point our initiative rolls, can we?
You can. The question is, should you?
Feels real bad. Everything about it feels bad.
And you are standing right next to this enormous 4-foot long worm.
Trill's little 4-foot height is 4 feet right in front of its big old mouth. Feels bad. I don't know what to do. Oof.
For me, I want you to be able to have a hero point if you're
What do you think, Zoe?
compromised.
I think this is a no for me. I feel like we only have 1 hero point apiece. It's occurring to me I only have 1 healing potion. I guess we have the wand, but I don't know. I think
Okay. The hero point the 11 will stand.
All right, Zoe, what did you roll?
I have a 24, which is not so bad.
Pretty quick. How is Mag reacting, David?
She rolled an 8, which I am going to hero point. Just kidding.
Okay,
I'm
8,
just
very,
gonna
very
sit,
slow.
I'm just going to sit there limply while all sorts of horrible things happen to my friends.
Okay. And Armat, how did you roll?
Vadim did not. He was a little shocked as well, I think. He got a 17.
17's pretty quick, not as quick as my 29 that I rolled with this leech. Let's
good you didn't
see
roll,
what
Robin.
happens.
I'm glad we didn't hero point that. None of us were rolling at
Yeah,
29.
there was no point.
We're in this 15 by 20 foot room. There's a metal table, and the west side of the room has this large machine poised above the table. Let's see who it is that this leech that has suddenly awoken and is greeted by all kinds of potential targets that it might want to attack.
Tasty meals.
Yummy, yummy adventurers.
So I'm rolling a d6. 1, 2 is going to be Norman. 3, 4, it's going to be Trill. 5, 6, it's going to be Vadim. This creature is going to swing towards the left side of the table, open up its mouth filled with these hook-like teeth as it just sort of dryly and desperately writhes, trying to find somebody to bite. And it bites Norman with a very good roll, a 29 to hit.
It's a critical hit.
Okay, here comes some critical damage from this mouth attack. As this creature bites into you, It bites deep for 28 points of damage.
Okay.
That is all my damage.
Oh.
So Norman passes out and is now dying too because he went down
on a crit.
on a crit. So Norman falls to the floor, falls prone, crumples as this creature bites into Norman.
Wait, can I glimpse that?
Yes, you can glimpse that armor.
I would love to glimpse that, please, 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 please.
Jeez. How badly were you guys freaking out just now about that?
I was like, why is Armat not doing anything?
We get a reaction at the beginning of initiative, correct?
It's actually up to GM Fiat, so let's see. Should I let you have a reaction or not?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and let you. I think that I think it's reasonable. Vadim is on the ball. You guys know that something is happening. You're not just hanging out with things jumping at you, right? Like you saw this log of meat in the room. You were probably like, this seems weird, right?
Would have been noticeable.
I think a reaction is reasonable for you to have.
You are both wise and generous. Thank you. I would love to glimpse
Way to butter him up.
Yeah, it was well done.
Okay, so Glimpse of Redemption, what does that do to me?
So the worm has a decision to make, whether or not to continue with the attack, and Norman will get resistance 4 to the damage, and that the worm will then be enfeebled 2.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue punching through. So what that means is that Norman only takes 24 points of damage, and the worm recoils back for a brief moment as it seems as though the energy gets sucked out of it. So as it bites into Norman, it's going to use an attack. It's going to use a second action to grab a hold of Norman as this creature wraps around Norman's leg that it is biting into, meaning that Norman is now grabbed.
Ah! Don't you have to roll something on that?
No, I don't. So,
Bastard.
Oh, well, this is fun.
then the leech starts like pulsing and twisting rhythmically as it starts trying to suck Norman's blood.
Oh, good.
So it is going to suck the following number of hit points of blood.
Oh.
7.
All done.
7 points of
Well,
damage.
you're only dying one, though.
And you see this leech get stronger.
Okay.
This dry leech suddenly seems to have blood pumping through its system. So as Norman collapses on the ground, passed out, for real this time, unless you have some other way to cheat, Armat.
Don't I get 2 reactions at the start of combat? No.
That classic level, the number of levels you are is the number of reactions you get. Everyone knows that.
So that is all 3 of this large leech figure's turn. It is sucking on Norman as Norman collapses to the ground. Vadim, you are in this very tightly packed room. Norman is on the ground, and there is this foul, blood-sucking thing right in front of you. What are you going to do?
I think Vadim at first hesitates. This is unlike him. He's in a freeze. He
One
sees
action, hesitate. Okay,
Hesitate.
cool. Second action?
Hesitate again. Oh, crap.
Oh, damn, man.
You hesitate for a moment. That's it. Cost an
3
action.
actions
A
of
3-action
hesitation.
hesitate.
Son of a bitch.
They never see it coming. He looks over and sees Norman collapse and goes, Norman! But he decides that offense is his best choice. So he draws out his blade, he draws out his dagger, and he makes an attack with his Eldori dueling sword. And he's
It's a beautiful weapon.
just magnificent. And that is a 24 to hit.
24 absolutely hits as you slash into the side of this leech as it is attached to Norman.
Great. And I think Vadim is just like yelling as he does too, like, ah! Having just seen his
Do you know what
friend.
Norman's doing? Nothing. He's dead.
That is 8 damage.
So as you cut into it, you get the feeling that this slashing damage that you're doing is cutting deeply into this leech creature, and you get the feeling that you have done more damage to it than you thought. But you also see that the leech is now detached from Norman and is looking around for somebody else to attack and is pleased that you have remained standing right in front of it. It is Trill's turn.
How do you tell a leech is pleased? Let's
It
talk
smiles.
about
Its little circular mouth turns into an
that. Just a
upturned
jolly
smiley
little
face.
leech. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a little tube.
Trill, if you look to your right, you see Norman collapsed on the ground, blood pouring out of him. You look to your left, you see Vadim cutting straight into this leech, and Mag is on the other side of the room. What would you like to do?
That doesn't feel too great to see her friend on the floor dying. Because you know what? I'm gonna call Norman and Trill friends now.
Oh, if Norman weren't dead, he'd totally appreciate that.
I gotta take care of that fellow. Because Norman's not. He might be a weirdo, but he's our weirdo.
Well said.
So thoughtful in the face of this blood sucking.
Yeah.
That's the same size as you.
I like to think this thing might actually be bigger than Trill, which is
And
really
another
horrifying.
I think it's a
Another
little
thing.
I think it's a little bigger than
I think
Trill.
it is bigger than Trill.
I think if it is bigger.
So Trill is going to look down at Norman and frantically strum a couple strings of her harp, and she's going to go and cast Soothe. And that ended up rolling an 11 altogether for that Soothe.
So that's 11 points of healing to Norman as Norman gasps for air and wakes up once more. No longer dying one, now wounded one, but still prone on the ground.
And also gains a +2 status bonus and saves against mental effects for the duration.
So if this leech tries to
dumbass
outsmart you
leech.
at all,
Yeah.
Doesn't just
gonna
stab
be-
my blood again.
you're going to be sitting pretty.
And Norman goes, what the fuck?
You're welcome.
The leech released the grab on Norman when Norman fell after it sucked Norman's blood, so Norman is now just prone and wounded.
Oh, how nice for
Trill
him.
has one more action.
I could run away. I could cast Inspire Courage, or I could cast a shield. But maybe moving away is probably my
Just nope out of
smartest
there.
thing to do.
Yeah.
I think I do just need to nope over here. And that's Trill's move.
So Trill blasts Norman with some healing magic and then scoots into the corner of the room, back against the wall, looking at this enormous leech creature still on the metal
A
table.
quick reminder, when we walked into this room, thinking back to our last recording session, Trill had a torch lit.
Yes.
So Trill still has that torch, I guess.
Yes. Although to cast that spell, you would have had to drop the
Yes.
torch.
So is the torch then on? So I guess the torch is on the floor next to Norman.
Correct.
So that is a thing worth remembering, that there's a torch on the floor next to Norman.
So Trill runs to the corner of the room. It is now Mag's turn. Mag is standing with this worm on the table between herself and Vadim, and Norman lying on the floor a short distance away. What is Mag going to do?
Rage, draw, strike.
Ah, the old RDS.
And that would be... Oh! That's a 20 on the die.
You gotta draw. Nice.
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 Oh, that's so much better than the other way. I like this game again.
So this crit that you've just
Speak
drawn,
for yourself.
brow cut, normal damage. The target takes a D4 persistent bleed damage. Until the bleed ends, all creatures are concealed to the target.
Oh, I do like that, though. That's nice. That works out well for some of us.
Mag.
So go ahead and roll that damage as you cut a gash in the worm in such a way that it impedes its ability to sense the creatures around it.
Magdalena, you beautiful, beautiful
Okay.
skull crusher.
Oh, max damage! That is...
What?
Sorry, not it's normal damage, not double damage. So it's half of this.
Wait, didn't I crit it?
Yeah, and the crit was normal damage. It takes persistent bleed damage, and all
Only
creatures are
Mag
concealed.
gets a crit card that fucks her crit damage.
Wait a second.
Just saying.
When you said normal damage, you didn't mean the damage I would otherwise get? You meant
No.
I'm nerfing your fucking damage in favor of this bleed bullshit?
It does seem as though I'm nerfing your damage in favor of some
How
bleed
is that
bullshit.
a crit card? It made it worse.
Yeah.
I hate this game again.
It seems messed up.
Oh my God, Meg has the worst luck.
Honestly, are you sure? Are we like actually sure?
Yes.
So the crit card, the effect of the crit card was to make the damage lower.
So let me tell you, brother, something.
Look, I'll take it up with Paizo if I need to.
You guys are clustered around this leech like it is no big deal. Everybody's just hanging out next to this leech. It's probably good that you guys are concealed from it, given how few of you are running away from it.
Yeah.
That's true. It now doesn't know where to strike us.
All right, that's 12 points of slashing damage.
Oh, and it's slashing.
I am not
is
thinking
slashing
I am a
damage.
barbarian. I raged. I critted. I rolled maxed damage and did not get to use it. I am
know.
pissed.
Also, you didn't turn your rage on, David, so you did a lot. You did a bit more damage than you rolled.
Ooh, fun. Let's turn rage on. So what, that's 2 extra damage?
It's 2 extra, yeah.
All right. So that is then 14 points of slashing damage.
Yeah, and you get the impression again that as you slice into this thing, you are cutting into it easily, like a hot knife through
Leech
what they
butter.
call butter.
Right,
Leech
but
butter.
not
Leech
as much
butter.
as if I hadn't critted it. I get it.
Right. So here we are. It's the top of round 2. Here's the situation. We are all packed tightly into this cramped room with this metal table and this machine. At the center of the room, on top of the metal table, is this leech, which has recently engorged itself by drinking Norman's blood. And then surrounding this leech, each person within easy striking distance of this hungry, disgusting creature. We have Norman, who is lying down prone on the ground. We have Vadim wielding both of his weapons, and we have Mag currently raging about the injustice of something or other. And also, Trill is pressed up in the corner of the room, a short 10 feet away from the leech. It is now Norman's turn.
All right, so Norman is going to stand up. He wants to know what the fuck is going on with this machine to see if he's got a rogue mindset.
He's not going to deal with the worm that just
Well,
fucking tried to kill him?
Yeah.
so
I
here's
think we
his
need to deal
thinking.
with the
He's trying
worm
to be sneaky, right? He's like, could he like yank a black stone out of this thing and kill this thing? Because that's how the other things seem to work, right? No,
I think
no
we
one
should deal
likes
with the
this?
worm before we can look at the machine.
All right. Norman hops to his feet and says, "You are an absolute abomination," and flings a shard of something sharp at this thing in hopes of trying to do some slashing damage to it.
Could you give me that attack roll, please?
That is a 23.
And 23 hits as this chunk of stone does cut into this creature.
That's 8 damage.
8 damage. So, and again, you feel like this slashing damage that you were doing to this creature is doing a little bit extra as you cut another chunk of leech off of the leech. And now it's time for the worm to go once more. It finds itself looking at Mag, Vadim, and Norman. Trill
But
is on
it
the
really
other side of
looking
the
though,
room.
since it can't really see anything?
It finds
It's
itself using
smiling.
its tremor sense to identify.
Tremor location.
There's a freebie.
So I'm rolling a d6. 1 or 2, it's Mag. 3 or 4, it's Norman. 5 or 6, it's Vadim. 6, it is Vadim.
Oh, thank God.
As this worm creature opens its muscly little butthole of a mouth and bites down on you with its hook teeth. It is gross. Here it comes. Here comes an attack roll against Vadim. That's a good roll. That is a 30 to hit Vadim.
That's a crit.
And here comes critical damage as these hook-like teeth sink deep into Vadim's side. 32 points of damage to
I'm actually going to
Vadim.
glimpse that.
That is precisely the number of hit points he has.
Oh.
And so he goes to the ground.
Does he have another reaction because it's round 2, or does it
can't
have
do
to
it
be
on
back to
himself,
his
right?
turn?
Yeah, I can't use it on myself.
Interesting. Well, but it's critical damage, so it's only half
Sorry,
what you
guys.
roll.
Guys, Vadim is concealed from the worm. Let's roll a d20 and see if the worm hit him at all.
Thank you.
I just rolled a 16 on my flat check, which means the attack went through
Ugh.
no problem.
Yep.
Vadim crumples to the ground, and Vadim is now dying too. The worm is now looking at either Norman or Mag to hit. Evens are going to be Norman, odds are Mag. Odd. It's a 1 on the die I just rolled as this leech swivels around on this table. It has not had to chase anybody at all. The buffet came to it, and it is just going to eat all of you for fun. Here comes an attack roll from the worm against Mag as it tries to clamp down on Mag now. That's going to be a 19 to hit Mag.
That does hit due to Mag's lowered AC from raging.
So this creature bites into Mag for an 11 to hit, and Mag is now grabbed as this creature clamps its teeth down into Mag and gets ready to start sucking blood from her.
Sorry, you said 11 to hit, but you mean 11 damage, right?
I mean 11 damage. You're correct. And also, let's roll that flat check to see if he bit Mag at all. I rolled a 2 on the flat check. Mag is fine. Mag is not grabbed. And this worm, scared about being between two people, is going to exercise tactics and is going to crawl across the room slowly. You see how slowly this thing moves. It's just a labored movement. It twists and it writhes and flops off of the table, landing on the stone floor right in front of Trill. So at the end of its turn, it's going to take 1 point of bleed damage.
Just because that's the lowest and most convenient for you?
Because that's what the die said. Okay. Anybody who's mad at me right now needs to take a look in the mirror and think about the choices that they've made.
Oh, sorry. Rolling a natural 20 and then max damage? Those choices that I made?
Mag was just saved from being bitten by this thing because of that critical hit.
I would have preferred the additional 14 damage to whatever this crap is.
It's just injured. I think the concealment is doing good stuff for us. This is going to be a really tough one, guys.
All right, well,
I think
you've played this
really
game
need
before.
to think about this.
I have not. All I know how to do is roll really good dice and have them not mean anything, or roll bad dice and lose my hand. Those are my skills.
Don't think about javelins. Don't think about javelins.
So we just saw it move for the first time, and it's bad at moving. So now we know that it's bad at moving. So that's helpful.
This is bad.
As this creature flops down on the floor in front of Trill, it is now Trill's turn.
Get out of there.
So, y'all, what are we doing here? Like, I'm gonna run out of spell slots soon. I have 1 spell slot left.
I think now's the time to use it, or the wand.
Sorry, Lars, before it's too late, which I think it isn't too late because nothing else has happened. I have no escape, and it just moved away from me, and I would like to pursue it.
Sure, you can absolutely do that. So because Mag is raging, she is able to run through the room and can land on the table, basically. So she will be set up on the table looking down on this worm, and then it becomes Trill's turn.
Okay. So I'm going to go one little step further then into that corner, basically going to where Mag was. Although that now means I don't have a clear line of sight if I want to cast Ray of Frost. Because from there I can cast Ray of Frost, right, Lars? And it's not going to, I don't have to...
What were you going to say, Armat?
I think, again, this is a really tough fight. I think Ray of Frost is maybe not the right choice, because if Vadim is knocked down, we're not just losing, like, out on damage, we're losing an entire round of combat. Like, that's 3 actions we're not getting back.
Yeah.
So if we can get him, I know it sucks to have to use up the spell
No,
slot
that's fine.
here, but
You're saying
this
soothe
is
Vadim.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful, maybe.
This intensity pouring from Armat right now. Just like it's
No,
this
that makes
life and
sense.
death fight, and Armat is like, well,
That makes sense. No, I'm fine with that. That's what I
don't
want.
know. I feel
I
weird
want the
about
feedback.
like
I want the opinions.
requesting the heals, but given what we're seeing here in terms of its ability to output damage, we should be using all of our resources.
Let's do it. Yeah, so Trill's going to move to replace where Mag was after Mag went and followed this disgusting, dripping worm as it slowly lumbered off. And from that corner, she's looking across the room and she now sees Vadim on the floor. And she's still got the harp on. For fuck's sake! And she strums a couple more chords on her harp to try and soothe Vadim. And so she's going to roll Soothe. And not quite as successful as the last time, because you know what? This room's a little stressful. But she rolls 8 healing for Vadim.
Okay.
Awesome.
And
Thank
that is
you.
her 3 actions.
and it is now Mag's turn. Mag has just followed this worm across the room, is standing on the table poised above this creature. What is Mag going to do?
For my first action, I am going to try and trip this thing.
Okay, so you're reaching down off the table, making an athletics check to try to trip this creature. Let's get your athletics roll.
Folks, I have assurance in athletics. I could guarantee myself a 14. It feels like maybe it's not going to do it, though, right? I should roll this? All
I
right.
feel
I
like
think roll.
14's not enough, yeah.
All right. That is a 17 to trip.
And that is just enough. As you manage to swing your free arm down, you throw it on its back, and it starts writhing around uncomfortably as it is prone.
I mean, how do you trip a leech?
Yeah.
As that hand continues to sweep back up toward her body, she grabs Haplo's bastard sword with that second hand and then rears back and makes a mighty two-handed strike with the bastard sword. 5 on the die for a 14 to hit, and y'all, I'm thinking maybe I should hero point that.
I mean, you're the one closest to it. You're the most likely to get got.
I really want to hit it. All right, I'll keep the 14, which is not going to be able to do it. 14 to hit.
And here we go into round 3. Mag is poised above this creature, having just clanged her sword into the stone floor. As this worm is on its back, writhing around, Mag is on the table. Vadim is lying on the ground just north of Mag. And then on the far western edge of the room, on either side of this diabolical-looking machine, there is a wounded-looking Norman and Trill, who just keeps having to spend her spell slots. Let's see what happens in this round.
It's fine.
It is now Norman's turn.
The entire reason I have spell slots is to cast Soothe.
Among the reasons.
Thank
And-
God
and-
you do.
And Norman just shouts, still, his wits coming back to him. And he goes, Mag, I got your back. And he does another TKP to try and slash this thing again. And just to be clear, now that it's tripped, it is flat-footed to me, correct?
Correct.
That is an 11, which sucks.
That is going to be a miss as a piece of metal from the table flies across and clatters against the wall. It is, and Norman has one more action.
He is going to go up and out the door so that he's still in range of this thing to cast spells, but he is not in the room.
So Norman scampers out of the room and runs into this dormitory room that you had just been in. It is now Vadim's turn. Vadim is lying on the ground. He looks to his right. There's his Aldori dueling sword also on the ground. He looks to his left. There's a dagger on the ground. Spent 2 actions drawing weapons, and they are both sitting next to him as he is lying down. What's going to happen next, Arman?
Well, he immediately reaches over to grab his Aldori dueling sword He's going to stand and he's going to strike at the worm.
Vadim staying within melee distance of the worm.
That is a 13 to hit.
Jeez, man. The dice have just abandoned us. We are so screwed.
And that's his turn, I guess.
Oh my god.
Vadim stands up, slashes at the worm with his beautiful Aldori dueling sword, and now it is the worm's turn. The worm has two people standing next to it. One is a healthy-looking mag with two hands on Hapless Bastard sword. The other is Vadim leaning against the wall, blood running down his face.
Poor Vadim with the blood on the face.
Odds, Vadim, evens, mag. That is a 2 that I just rolled as the worm struggles to flip itself back over, making itself now no longer prone. And then for its second action, it is going to reach its mouth up towards Mag and start snapping frantically at the hands that are swinging the sword towards it. Here comes an attack roll.
Is it the stinky hand it's going for?
It's the stinkiest hand you've ever heard of. That is a 20 to hit.
Isn't she potentially concealed still?
Thank you so much, Zoe. Let's see what's going on with this concealment check. That's an 11 on the die, so the worm manages to see Mag.
Ugh.
So that's a 20 to hit.
Shocking. That is a hit.
Okay, and the mouth clamps down on Mag
glimpse.
for... Let's see, I'm going to toss a coin. It's going to continue doing the attack, so it does a total of 8 points of damage to Mag.
Okay.
And again...
okay.
Matt, I don't even know if that's worth glimpsing, dude. Like,
That's after the glimpse.
It would have been 12.
So, and the worm again shrivels up, looking more desiccated as the vision of Pharasma saps it of its strength.
Oh, nice.
And as Vadim has his hand back against the wall, his blood in his vision, he says, "You will not strike my ally."
And as you say that, it grabs Mag. It's
He's a
now
little out of it.
suctioned onto Mag. Mag has this worm hanging off of her calf. It's messed up. It is now Trill's turn. As the worm at the end of its turn takes 4 points of bleeding damage and continues to bleed.
excellent.
I think what makes the most sense would be now that no one is dying, this is finally Trill to do her move, which is Lingering Composition and Inspire Courage. So let's go ahead and do that standard.
And to circle back, this is how huge initiative is. Like,
Yeah.
we're in the middle of round
Yeah.
3 right now. If only for that initiative roll, this could have been going the
whole
entire time.
Yeah, when Trill gets a
Totally.
good roll. And also the issue was because this guy got such a good initiative and just took that honk.
I was
out of
going to
your
say,
man.
this is totally a red herring. None of us could have beat that thing on
Exactly.
initiative.
None of us can hit a 29.5 for an initiative roll, so, I mean, it would have been cool if it were better.
Yeah. There was no way to get around it, and it just
Okay,
took
so
that
it
bite.
wasn't just your initiative roll, it was also its initiative roll.
Yeah.
Well, sure,
Yeah.
but
Fine. I'm saying if initiative had been different.
Yes.
I see.
So, Lingering Composition. On my performance check, Trill's gonna get a shitty performance check of only a 19 or only a 17.
17 is going to fail. It means you do not spend a focus
Yeah.
point, and your next cantrip only lasts for 1 round.
So that is just her one action. So Trill casts Inspire Courage on everyone. Yay!
hooray! Thank you,
you,
Sort of
Trill.
Trill.
sarcastic inspire courage, but okay.
Thank you, I guess.
I guess everyone kind of gets Inspire Courage for a round. Fine, whatever.
And that leaves Trill with 2 more actions.
Trill will some sort of sharp thing that's on the ground. Trill's going to TKP and do some slashing damage. Finally, I'm gonna get you back for hurting my friends. With a 24.
Oh,
Yeah.
24 hits as a piece of metal swings across the room and cuts a big gash in this enormous worm.
And Trill does 7 points of damage.
love it. Battle Bard. In my mind, there's just one little piece of metal in there that first Norman was flinging and now Trill is. There's like
Just
not much
pinballing
sharp,
all
but it's just
around the
one
room.
little thing.
It's one knitting needle.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
It is now Mag's turn. Mag is being grabbed onto by this worm that is sucking onto her leg, but also she's filled with Trill's inspirational power, and also she's super mad. What is she going to do?
Does my being grabbed affect my options at all, or do I need to start with a check of some kind or whatever?
If you want to escape the grab, you can either make an athletics, acrobatics, or unarmed attack roll, or you can remain grabbed and just have it suck the blood out of you for a while.
Do I have to decide that before I hit it, or can I hit it
No, you
first
could
and
hit it
then
twice and
use
then-
a third action?
So
on
an
that?
escape attempt is an attack, so it'll take a
Got it.
-5, or your
Right.
attack will take a -5. So the question is, which one of those two things do you care more about?
My take is hit it, because you've got you, me, and Vadim who could each try to hit it, and it's pretty badly injured.
Mag definitely is thinking about hitting it first, for sure. It's still tripped, right? It's still prone?
No, it got up. This is the episode where no one can keep track of the fact that we aren't all lying on the ground.
Yes, and also if you look at the tokens, you'll see status icons telling you what's going on.
I don't know
with
what all
each of
that
the creatures.
stuff is, Lars. There's no way to know. It's just a bunch of goofy
They're
little...
so small.
It's just a bunch of goofy pictures on my dang computer.
Goofy
How am I
little-
supposed to know what this means?
bunch of little goofy little boxos all over the
You're
boxes.
telling me there's a worm inside my computer?
Wait a minute. Each of these words
Oh my
you're
god, is
using
this the viruses that they keep talking about?
affects game mechanics? I can scarcely keep track. Urky.
The Y2K bug.
Yeah. You're fighting the Y2K bug. It's doing substantially more to you than the Y2K bug did in our world, but let's see what happens.
All right, so I'm going to hit it with my big sword that I'm already holding. Yay!
Woohoo!
And rolls a 21 to hit.
And Mag attacking with no concern for her own well-being.
Love it. You love to hear it.
Love it.
That
Love
gets
to hear
gets
it.
her a hero point.
To add to the imagery, I'd also like to point out that Haplo's sword is glowing, so it's like this arc of light through the darkness.
This arc of
Beautiful.
light through the darkness cuts through this worm. Go ahead and roll that D12 of damage that you roll for dual wielding or two-handing a bastard sword.
That is 12 points of slashing damage.
12 points of slashing damage, and again, the flesh of this desiccated worm gives way easily as this massive sword cuts into it. You have 2 more actions left.
I am going to try and hit it again with my big sword.
Hit it with your big sword.
So without stopping or thinking, Mag raises the sword again and brings it down from 12 to 6.
Again, this bleeding worm latched onto Mag's leg as she is attacking without concern for herself.
That is a 12 to hit.
And that 12 is a miss as Mag swings wide of this worm. You have 1 action left.
You could hero point it.
I was going to say, you do have 2 now.
Yeah. And that's right. You're just going to get 1 each episode, so.
Or another one for using your hero point to hit it. Am I right, Lars? Aren't you definitely going to give him another one right now if he uses it?
Who knows what the future holds? But yes, definitely spend all your hero points.
I feel like I need to save the hero points in case I get any more natural 20s. So that I can try to
can
roll like
cancel them.
18s or 16s.
Yes, and
to
get the damage you deserve.
improve
Yeah.
the damage.
Totally.
It feels like a really odd one on a like second damage thing that I'm not gonna
All
I'm not
right.
gonna hit it anyway.
All right.
I'll send out.
All right, I'm gonna demoralize with my third action. I'm going to demoralize
You're a
this thing.
bad
So
worm.
Mag leans down to where its jaw has locked onto her calf, and she screams in its face. Let's see, what would she scream? She would scream something like, she would say, "Ah!" Something like that.
Yes.
Give or take. Yeah.
It is very
that's a-
Magdaruna.
Let's get that intimidation roll.
And that is a 23.
Nice.
A 23 versus this creature's will DC is enough, and it as it's holding on to you, it starts sort of shaking in fear as it is now frightened 1.
Woohoo.
Don't bite the barbarian.
And here we are at the beginning of round 4. Here's what's going on. Mag and Vadim have pinned this worm into the eastern wall of this small chamber. Trill is all the way across the room, and Norman has fled to the next room but has a line of sight through the door. Basically, 2 of you have spread out, 2 of you have closed in. It is now Norman's turn.
So Norman seeing this thing grabbing Mag and having felt like he was just trying to defend Mag and is powerless, goes, Mag, I've got your back. And he tries to create a distraction on the other side of the worm.
Okay, go ahead and give me that deception check.
It's a 17.
Yeah, so the worm doesn't twist away in any way, just continues doing what it was doing.
Norman goes, no, Mag, I've got your back. And he throws that same little piece of metal that he and Trill have been flinging at this thing. He's frustrated with himself that he hasn't been able to help Mag more. And that is a 26.
Which is a hit. This small piece of metal continues slicing into the worm. Go ahead and give me a damage roll.
That is an 8 damage.
8 damage is enough to slice the worm, the top of the worm, off the rest of its body, and it collapses down on the ground, releasing its teeth from Mag's leg. And Mag finds herself looking down at 2 pieces of a bisected worm as this piece of metal magically cuts the worm in 2.
And Norman shouts from the other room. He goes, see, Mag, I had your back.
Oh, Norman.
And Mag, the rage still coursing through her veins, whips her head to the left to stare out this door to where Norman is waiting, and eyes bloodshot, chest heaving, says, "Thank you."
And Norman runs in sort of weirdly overcome with emotion and doesn't even bother to stop to look at the grotesque teeth on this thing and just hugs around Mag's ankles because she's standing up on the table still. He's like, see, I had your back. And he's shaking.
Oh.
Well, I guess this is just the week when Mag's calves get grabbed by things.
Right, that's still tender where the leech was biting her and Norman's totally disregarding that.
Yeah. So her sense is clear. She sees Norman is now the thing embracing her around her legs, and she's surprised. I guess feeling this touch probably shakes Mag loose even from the rest of her rage, and she's sort of surprised and stunned by this act of affection. She kind of slowly lowers herself down and places a hand on Norman's shoulder, and she says again, "Thank you, Norman. I see you here. We're all here together." And she embraces him for a quick moment before releasing his embrace.
So the 4 of you are right now in this room with this metal table covered with leather straps and these bands that seem to hold things down onto the table. And there's this machine, again, with this drill and this lens on the opposite side of the room from the worm.
And Norman sees the machine and he's like, "That stone, what's that stone?" And he lets go of Mags's legs and walks over to the machine to take a look at it.
So Norman takes a look at this stone and he tries to pry the stone out, and it pops out of the machine no problem. And you find yourself now holding a piece of black onyx.
Based on the soul stone that Norman's already carrying, can he tell anything about whether this is the same thing?
Well, Mag was interested in checking that out too, right?
Yeah, a lifetime ago.
So can I get either a perception check or a crafting check from either one of you?
Yeah. That is a 23 for Mag.
Okay, so Mag takes a look at the stone and compares it to the soul stone. Who has the soul stone?
I do. Norman does.
So compares it to the soul stone that Norman has, and they seem unrelated, not similar. This one is an angular piece of sharpened stone, and the other one is a more oblong, rounded, sort of rough stone.
All right. Mag is also interested in trying to understand the function of the machine.
So if you're interested in taking a look at the machine, you can spend some time looking at it, and then if you could give me either occultism or religion.
Same for
Yes.
Norman on this.
I can help out with occultism.
And I'm going to do occultism as well.
Trill gets the sense that this thing is some sort of device that is meant to complete a ritual to create undead. She takes a close look at this drilling mechanism and this lens, and she reaches the conclusion that the drill penetrates the skull of a restrained victim, while the scope of the lens focuses the ritual's like necromantic magic onto a single point.
Vadim's gonna love this.
Oh, Vadim, you're gonna actually hate this.
Meanwhile,
I was just kidding,
Vadim
man.
has been slumped against the wall.
And I
where
was actually going to say that while the two of them are all initially looking at this, that Trill is probably like checking in on Vadim and making sure he's like alive and okay, even though Trill's
that
not much
would be
for
compassionate.
healing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Trill turns from this arcane, messed up, ritualistic torture device and turns towards Vadim.
Vadim, how you doing? How you doing, buddy? You need to lay hands on yourself?
And Vadim has dropped his dueling sword. It's sort of slumped against the wall. And he's quiet for a second. And
You
then
need need Norman to do some medicine on you?
Oh, I can do that, says Norman and hops up on the table. Himself very bad for the wear.
And suddenly you realize that Vadim is starting to chuckle. And it starts to grow into until he's like belly laughing. And he goes, "Holy shit, that was one hell of a fight." Oh my god. By Pharasma's grace.
That thing was gross, right?
Oh, that thing was terrible. Oh,
Fucking
all
awful.
right. And he starts rooting about in his pack, wincing as he does so, and like kind of getting blood everywhere. and just like, he's not even doing a good job. It's almost like a comedy slapstick routine. He like sort of slips in a pool of his own blood a little bit as he's trying to like get stuff out. And he's going to try and treat wounds on himself.
You sure you don't want my help? I guess I'll treat myself.
I'm good. Keep having fun doing I need to stop this bleeding.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Okay, so Vadim does his medicine check. What'd you roll?
I rolled a 14, which I believe is below the amount I need. So we can try again in an hour.
So Norman treating his own wounds rolls what?
A 20.
You get back 2d8 hit points.
So 10 hit points for Norman. You know what, man? Let's give you a minute and why don't you tell us, what would Radu do if he were keeping you company?
So Vadim chooses to spend 50 minutes talking about Radu, and then let's get another treat wounds check, please.
People have learned so much about his brother.
5'4.5", you say? Wow. What
And
a weird
he would
height.
also sing another song about the snow leopard.
He only had one ear. Wow.
That is a 25.
And Vadim heals himself for 4d8 hit points.
Nice.
He got 18 hit points, so now he no longer has the wounded condition back up to not dying levels.
That's good. That's better, I think.
So it's around 10 o'clock in the morning, and the four of you are more or less healed up.
I say we push on, and the sooner we can rid this place of this blight, the better.
Should we, break this machine first? Do you want to light it on fire? Should we light it on
Definitely,
fire?
says Norman.
So I'm going to say that Trill, in understanding how this machine works, knows that once that stone has been removed from it, this machine does
Oh, great.
not
Fantastic.
work anymore.
So we
Oh,
don't need to
okay.
light it on fire.
Aw, it's been a while.
Good luck lighting this metal machine on fire.
Also, in this intervening time, Norman has taken a leech tooth, obviously. And he says, "Well, we didn't go clockwise, so now we're going helter skelter. I guess we better go through that door."
So you're in
Okay.
with the door to the south.
Door to the south.
The door swings open freely, and you find yourself looking in a staircase leading downwards.
Down more.
I don't know
Oh boy,
about
oh boy.
down more. I feel like maybe we should see what else is here.
That sounds
Yeah.
reasonable. Perhaps we'd better push to the other end of the corridor.
On the floor, leading from this sort of operating chamber that you've been in back into the bedroom, you find a scrap of paper on the floor that had fallen off of the desk and lodged itself in the door frame.
What the hell's this?
And it has the name of 3 books on it. It says, What the Worm Knows is one book. Grave Feasts is another book. Secrets of the Skull. And then there's a handwritten note on the bottom that you read that says, Transcription will take months, but I'll try to have these books back to you as soon as possible, my love.
This has felt like this is Azenray's. This is Azenray's building.
Azrene, which you knew
Azrene.
was the guy that ran the lens workshop upstairs.
Yeah, and like may or may not have been like an apprentice or a protege of
Or a lover.
Velcora's, or
Yeah,
maybe now a
possibly a lover.
lover.
It sounds as though that may be the tenor of their relationship.
Ew.
Spicy. Yeah, I think Tangletop told us before he was an apprentice. I mean, who he could have been more, right? But definitely
Yeah.
a student-teacher relationship, among others.
If this is Azenray's chamber, that means when Azenray was doing his work, he wasn't alone.
Azrene.
Azrene. Rah!
Well, maybe we should hold on to these books. Maybe we could bring them to the Dawnflower Library. See if they can help us with them.
I think it's just one piece of paper, right? It's not a whole book.
It's a piece of paper listing the names of 3 books.
I wonder if they were up in that library where Tangletop was.
Maybe that nice lady, the Dawnflower, knows what these books are and can tell us more when we're back in town.
If Tangletop doesn't have them, Vandy will know.
All
Let's go
right.
to the next door, guys.
Let's push
I
on.
want to keep
yes.
pushing forward. I want to open more doors.
I like where your head's at, Miss Drill.
So you head back into the hallway to the east that adjoined to this bedroom that you just found this scrap of paper. You see the stairs leading back up, and then there is a door on the eastern end of the hallway.
Approaching the door, Mag takes one last quick look over her shoulder to check with the rest of the party that they are all ready.
The demon is searching for traps.
Norman, you want to get behind me?
Sure. I'm just seeing if there's anything out here. That leech has me spooked.
Mag will scout.
Trill's still making sure her shield is ready and she's got the torch held high.
All of you start scouting, searching, shielding, and looking for traps.
Yeah.
You don't see any sign of any traps, but you do see this door in front of you.
So then he goes into hide mode.
Magdaruna opens the door.
The door's locked.
Magdaruna headbutts the door in anger.
I could help with that, says Norman, pulling out his thief kit.
Don't we have some keys?
Yeah. Vadim pulls out the key with the bronze key with the book on it and says, well, perhaps this will work.
I will
And he
say
tries
picking
it.
a lock is cooler than just using the key, but sure.
So Mag uses the key that Vadim passes to her, and it does not fit. The key is much smaller than the keyhole.
Well, Mag also has a key, which I think may even have come from the closet upstairs in this room. It's a large silver key that she's been carrying around.
It seems incredibly unlikely that this will work, but let's give it a shot.
So Mag, undeterred by the narrator's sass, attempts to open a door using the one key she has in her inventory.
The key slips into the lock, chunk, and the door swings open.
Yay, Mag!
Well done.
I still could have done it with the picks, though.
It would have been cool.
And now you find yourself in a very interesting room. Seems to be some kind of a workshop. And there are 7 square alcoves, each containing strange magical apparatus or alchemical sets of tools that circle this chamber that you're standing in. In the alcove to the north, you see a large glass tank filled with liquid. A goblin's corpse, clad in outdated servant's clothing, floats inside it.
I guess he didn't deliver the wine in time.
A semicircular work table covered with tools, moldy papers, and a large open book stands in front of the tank. And Vadim, as he is searching around the room, spots something in the northwest alcove.
What do you see, Vadim? What do you notice?
Hope it's not a flesh log.
You find a doll
Oh, good.
Oh no.
in the shape of
Not a bird.
an armless, legless goblin. There's an indentation in its back, the same size as the soul gem that Norman currently has in his possession.
Don't put it in.
So we
I
should
think
probably
we
stick
should
it in
put
there,
it in.
right?
No,
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, what could happen?
No,
what could happen?
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
Well, and there's a goblin in the tank.
Is the goblin's soul in the tank in that stone?
I have a feeling that something like that is what's happening, yeah.
Poor goblin.
Is there anything else? What's in the other alcoves?
So Norman starts searching around the other alcoves,
Going clockwise, as his family
going
always said.
clockwise, not helter-skelter, of course. Yeah, you find all around the room, you find there are books, dried up containers of maybe some sort of chemicals. If anybody wants to make an Arcana or Occultism check to try to figure out what it is that this workshop was used for, you could do that.
Trill will make an occultism check, yeah.
Okay, so Trill uses her knowledge of the occult to try to determine what's going on in this room. And she is convinced that this is a workshop that is used to both build constructs and also to do necromantic research.
This place is evil.
And she gets an extremely good look at what's going on. And you get the impression that the emphasis of all of this stuff in this workshop is built to transfer mortal souls into constructs, but also potentially into a swarm of vermin.
Oh, natural. Obviously.
I'm sorry. Vermin?
Vermin.
Are we about to encounter some ROUSs?
I don't think they really exist.
So what do you guys do?
I think we have to put the
No. No.
It has no arms
No.
or legs. It
I
cannot
don't
fight
care.
us. Drill. It's okay. We just fought the enormous, horrible fucking flesh worm. We're
But the other thing
good.
flew! The other one flew!
Vadim, enough. You didn't see that thing that killed Haplo. We can't make one of those if we don't have to confront it ourselves. At least not without knowing more of what evil magic is at work here.
Look, I think we know what evil magic is at work here. Trill
Necromancy, Vadim!
I agree. It is distasteful in the extreme.
What would be the purpose?
That is what this entire building, this entire edifice is a testament to evil. But if we are to understand it, we must take risks. We must push ourselves. We must risk danger. We must have courage.
While they're talking, Norman has sort of, he's near them, but he's decided he's not that interested in this. And he's hopped up on the table and taken his rapier out and he's poking the goblin in the pool.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, good Lord, Norman.
What is it doing in here?
Don't try and desecrate the dead anymore, Norman, please.
I'm just saying we should burn it.
I agree. We should burn this evil doll.
I think to do so would be extremely short-sighted.
Trill holds up the torch and starts bringing the torch closer to the doll.
Trill,
Wait.
I am looking at you. I am seeing what you are doing.
Everyone, wait. Mag is standing in the middle of the room, her head whipping back and forth between these people. She's starting to wonder if the room is cursed. because the things that people are doing and suggesting doing are so manifestly foolhardy.
What do you suggest I do then?
All of you, do nothing. All of you, stop and wait. We're in the middle of this strange workshop. We know nothing about it. We shouldn't go turning on every device that we see.
Exactly. We should light it on fire.
Let's break the tank. We'll break the tank.
We're here to learn. We're here to investigate and not randomly destroy or randomly resurrect. Can we just think for a moment? Norman, stop tapping that tank. It is very difficult to concentrate or speak in a composed manner when you are tapping that tank.
Okay.
My friends, this place is indeed an abomination, Norman, as you say. But that is the nature of our task. We have been asked to do what others cannot do. We have been asked to save Otari, to stop whatever evil is going on here. We cannot turn away in fear. We must strike forward always.
You're right. We need to stop the evil.
Now.
And we'll stop the evil by burning this down.
And Norman looks at him, cocks his head, is still holding the rapier in his hand, but sets it down and stops tapping, and he goes, "Guess to find the light, you gotta get some darkness." And he pulls the stone out of his pocket and shoves it in the back of this thing.
He's doing it as Trill is like leaning over to try and light the doll on fire.
Mag lurches forward to try and prevent the stone from getting into the back of the doll.
All three of them reaching at the same time for the doll.
And Vadim is trying to stop Trill from burning the doll. No!
And suddenly the doll's eyes snap open. It starts peering around, sees the fire heading straight towards it, sees that it's in the middle of this fight, and it just says, "Ah, it's you again!" And we'll pick up from there next time.
Again?
The Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy. The Roots of Ruin uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Inc., used under Paizo's Community Use Policy. We are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way. Original characters and content are the property of Tabletop Gold. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Email us at letters@tabletopgold.com and find all our social links at tabletopgold.com.